Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to an It's Obvious Gaming review. Is everything okay?
Yeah, my chair is...
We're laughing about his chair.
My chair is very squeaky over here, so I'm trying to... Oh, my foot! I just sat the wrong way on it. Sorry.
You sat on your foot?
I'm having a rough start here. I apologize.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, I'm comfortable now. I don't need to wiggle anymore. Yep.
Welcome to an It's Obvious Gaming review for Firewatch. You've all been waiting for it. Ask and you shall receive.
Good one.
Yeah. What movie is that from?
Ask and you shall receive?
Yeah.
I feel like that phrase has been used
Probably
a
has.
lot.
I'm like thinking of one specific movie. He says it like really like ask and you shall receive.
Dumbledore.
Okay.
Dumbledore.
What movie?
I know
is
it's
that?
from like
That's not
an
Dumbledore.
action movie.
Yeah.
Ask and you shall receive. Is it from Avatar?
No.
Gosh, man, I really hurt my foot when I
man.
shifted to my seat there.
All right.
Oh, that hurts so bad.
I'll kiss it.
I'm sorry.
I'm in a lot of pain.
Gentlemen, what'd you think of Firewatch?
Initial impressions for me.
Yeah.
Overall, I hate to take the generic route that
Literally.
I'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room here. Our friends that keep up with our videos. Once again, if you're joining us, again, if you've been keeping up with us, thank you as always for joining us. To any newcomers, welcome aboard. I got to say though, as everyone knows, it's pretty much been a very universal verdict on this game as far as how it all played out and how the game concludes. And like I said, I'll address the elephant in the room. My first impressions are very similar to a lot of others, and I really enjoyed the game for the most part. I think it had a lot going for it. It had a lot more potential that I think wasn't entirely fulfilled. There was also some pretty good achievements, I think, in my opinion, as far as dialogue and character development goes and everything. But before I dive deep into it, I want to hear your guys' opinions as well. But first impressions for me are, I enjoyed the game, but I think I was left wanting a little more out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think it's a great game in certain aspects. In other aspects, it lacks a few things.
Yeah.
Game could have done a little better at, a few things, but overall, I enjoyed my 5 hours playing it.
Yeah.
5 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something like
Did you
that.
explore a decent bit?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time just looking around.
I did not.
I did not either.
I picked up a lot of cans too.
I picked up every can I
was
saw
fun.
because I just wanted to make sure the forest was litter free.
Did you examine everything really well? Dude, every time I examined anything, I was laughing so hard.
I didn't
that
do
video
it
we
like
made.
one time.
That's so funny, that animation.
That was good.
Well,
What do you think, Preston?
my impressions are basically the same as everybody else's. I enjoyed the journey, and in most aspects, it's all about the journey, not the destination.
Correct.
So, if you're going to come at it like that, then yes, I enjoyed the game. It was a nice game to, I just shut the door in my room, threw my headset on, and just was engrossed into the world. And it was actually very hard for me to really become engrossed in this world because everything was so good except it ran like garbage on PlayStation. Like every time it auto-saved, it would stutter. Every time I would start running, it would start stuttering. I know there's a patch that just got released 2 days ago as of this video.
Yeah.
But, it's too late for me because I'm never going to go back and play that.
There's no reason to go back and play.
Yeah, there isn't. Especially with, if there were trophies, maybe I might do it. But already, if you just beat the game, you already have all those. So there's really not an incentive for me to play, especially since, as far as I know, the only thing that changes, based on things you say or choices you make is very minuscule things. The ending's not any different. The overall ending, as far as I know, isn't. So, but yeah, it was fine. The game did things very well in terms of there were parts where I was legitimately kind of creeped out. I was looking over my shoulder. I thought that something more sinister was happening that there actually was. And I don't. We're probably going to say some spoilers.
I almost wish you
No, this is a spoiler review.
It is? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
We'll get into all that.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be something way more complex than there was.
It needed it.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a twist. I honestly thought, and I saw somebody else make this comment, that I thought he was going to be the one that had dementia.
Me too.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be the twist, and I wish they would have done something like that. But But then again, somebody made a point saying that, not every story, even in real life has anything crazy happening. It's just about a dude with him going through a hard time and him kind of finding comfort in talking to somebody that, he can actually have, an actual conversation with, as opposed to his wife that's, going through a lot. So just, a story in this dude's life trying to get away from stuff. So in terms of that, if you think about it that way, it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I can pretty much say, though, is that I enjoyed it. It was fine. I feel like I got my money's worth. It was fine.
Yeah.
I wish the ending might have, I might have wanted to maybe see Delilah if you did a particular thing or not. I don't know. But I mean, that was kind of the story. At the very least,
I would have liked to have seen her like maybe leaving or something, just like walking away from the tower. Like as you enter, you like look out the window and maybe like you see her shadow walk away or something.
I mean, I think
maybe
for the most part,
helicopter.
Delilah, no matter what you say, I think she pretty much wants you. She doesn't feel it's right for you to pursue her. Because I tried to at least meet her.
Yeah.
At the end, I told her, hey, come back to Boulder with me. And she was like, no, it's probably not a good idea. Or I might come later. I got to take care of a few things. So I think that's clearly the story they wanted to tell and the ending they kind of wanted you to have. There is another ending if you don't go to the helicopter. Which that's even more depressing because I'm assuming you
just die.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's all really I have to say. Like, I don't know. Probably the best thing it did for me was like in the midst of it running crappily, the voice acting was amazing. Like the dialogue between Delilah and Henry was that's his name, right? Henry. Yeah. Henry was very well done. The overall art style was beautiful. Like I said, if it was running at a solid frame rate and stuff, I would have really been immersed in it. I would probably enjoyed it a good bit more than I did. That really did impact my experience.
The way it ran.
Yeah, it really did. It really took me out of it at a few points because like you're looking at this beautiful, all this hard work they put into making everything look nice and it's just hiccuping everywhere.
Right.
So that really did affect a game like this one. That is one of the features of this game. I mean, other games where, the gameplay is really fun and there's a hiccup here and there, you can forgive that. But when the game is you traversing the environment and you can't even do that without it hiccuping, that really does affect it more so than another game.
All right.
So that was probably even more so, a negative impact it had on me as, even more so than like me not really enjoying the ending that much, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts with the game overall. So
yeah, my thoughts are similar to yours. Before I discuss the negatives, which are basically all the negatives that everyone's been talking about, I'll dive into those a little bit as well. But I wanted to talk about actually the personal impact this game may or may not have had on you, because although the ending, which I'll also get to, was a little disappointing for me, the game itself, like the characters, like kind of the story between the two of them and their banter back and forth and the way those two connected. I don't know about you guys, but I can I hate saying very much so in this sense, but I can relate a lot to their relationship in a similar way, because I don't know, you and I, the three of us, I don't think have had this discussion before, but have you ever had a relationship similar to this where it'll be like over the summer or something where, in our case, we'll meet a girl that we're interested in and you guys will just talk all the time like this and there's a connection there, but it almost at the same time feels like wrong in a way, you know what I'm saying? It's like, this has nothing to do with like a recent relationship in my life. I mean, this is stuff that I would experience in in high school and everything.
Yeah.
So you've had a girlfriend and you've talked to a girl over the summer?
No, not at all. That's not what I mean. I just mean like in a sense where it's like, I don't know how to describe it.
One of his girlfriends had early signs of Alzheimer's, and essentially the same thing was happening.
But no, but it's like, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm sure a lot of people can relate to the relationship that Henry and Delilah shared, especially since they never saw each other face to face. Especially when you just like text someone a lot.
It's kind of like meeting someone on social media, just like really hitting it off.
Exactly.
Meeting them.
Like there's been multiple occasions where like I'll have met someone once very briefly and then we'll talk. And this hasn't happened in my life in a long time, but years ago, I can't even think of anyone specific. I just know there's been multiple occasions where I'll meet someone like somewhere, like whether it be church or like at school or something, and we'll talk online a lot or we'll talk on the phone a lot. and you'll like really connect with the person, and you like really feel like something's there, and then it like ultimately turns into nothing, and it's usually pretty disappointing. And I remember playing the game the first time me and Jacob did the Let's Play, as much as we were joking around at the same time when like him and Delilah first started talking and started joking back and forth, and they have that instant chemistry with each other. It's like I can totally relate to what it's like to meet someone and just like instantly feel like you know them pretty well and can joke back and forth. Yeah. And it's not really ever awkward or anything. It just feels natural. And that game in that sense from start to finish was very relatable to me in a way that I could relate to how those characters were probably feeling about everything, which I thought was cool because I haven't experienced that in a game before, which that's one of my positives for sure, is because I just know that feeling, and then I could easily put myself into Henry's shoes into what he was feeling like. So I thought that was cool for sure. Like we kind of said, how it plays out. My favorite part of the game, despite it running poorly, was just walking around the wilderness, having conversations back and forth with Delilah. I thought was cool, especially since you're getting to choose what he says. It isn't like you're just listening to their conversation. You're constantly making your own decisions in these conversations, which is cool. So mostly the positives for me were, one, like you said, the world was beautiful. It ran poorly, but I enjoyed walking around talking with Delilah. That was the best part. And just the character building and the relationship building throughout the period of the game, I thought was really exciting to experience, especially, like I said, if you can relate to that kind of a relationship. And where was I headed with that? Oh yeah, the ending. So, I mean, I'll just jump to the ending. Upon the story, I got to say, they briefly mention, what's the guy's name and his son?
Ned Goodwin.
What's his son's name?
Brian.
Okay. I feel like reflecting upon it, they mentioned the two of them more than I remember, because initially when the game ended and it ended up kind of all being surrounded by them, mostly I was just kind of like, I feel like they were barely included in this journey, and like they're just kind of like thrown it into the end here. Like, this is what it was all really about the whole time, which is fine. I mean, I thought it was interesting kind of how, like we said, this is a spoiler review, so brace yourself if you haven't already figured that out. But when you find Brian's dead body in the cave, it was like, well, man, that sucks. Yeah. I mean, I figured, obviously, everyone kind of figured something like that happened. It was everyone could see it coming. But seeing that, I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. And then finding out that Ned was the one spying on you the whole time, which kind of is creepy thinking back on it, like at the beginning of the game where you do see someone with like a flashlight up on a hill or something, and you're like, I just saw someone. And she's like, oh, well, there's just random people out here. Yeah. I didn't actually think much of it until stuff started happening. I was like, that is kind of really creepy thinking about it. And this is something I wanted to ask you guys. This is something kind of confused me. The only moment that kind of confused me is when you go into the cave and Ned slams the door behind you. Did he want you to get trapped and die in there? Was that his plan? Yeah. Okay, because he didn't want you to find out about like what had happened or anything. Yeah. So I guess that was his plan, and then obviously she just like sends you that recording. It's like, it's me the whole time, blah blah blah, which is fine. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. But obviously everyone was more interested in what was going to happen with Henry and Delilah after all this. And upon reaching the end of the game, I made the same decisions where you get to the tower and she's already gone. And like, oh, stay with me, blah blah blah. And I've read a lot into this because I know everyone kind of felt the same, where they felt very underwhelmed, and I felt a bit of emptiness, not in the sense where I'm like, oh, I'm so sad. It's just like we all needed that just a little bit more, I think, to fulfill everyone to feel fulfilled with the ending. But I read more into it, and a lot of people made really good points as far as the idea behind all this was, which is also very relatable. How they were saying how it was supposed to be like a good old-fashioned summer relationship, even though you never meet face-to-face. It was supposed to be one of those summer relationships where like everything's really awesome and everything was great. You guys really got to know each other well and you connected a lot, but in the end it's just one of those summer flings that just dies out, and you never really make anything of it. And then there's been countless times in my life where I've had brief relationships like that, and I know I've had friends that have had relationships like that where you have like a summer romance, and like that's all it is, and you always remember those times as being awesome. And it's kind of sad when you think about it. It's like, man, it's like what could have been possibly and everything. But so in that sense, when I try to put myself in that, put the game into that perspective for myself, is thinking of it as much as it sucks that you don't meet Delilah, like if you think about it, it's like, oh, it's just one of those summer relationships. That's cool and all, but part of me wishes, like, at the very least, you could have had that last conversation with Delilah, like face to face, where you finally get to see her and meet her, and she's like, I don't think this is a good idea, blah blah blah, and then she flew away or something, or then you guys both flew away. Like if it ended and you had that last conversation face to face, even if you guys don't end up together, I still think that would have been more fulfilling in a way. Because it's like, oh, you finally get to see her, you meet her face to face, and this is the only time we'll get to meet face to face, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, even though that's still sad, I feel like ultimately that would have been more fulfilling. And I'm sure the developers had that conversation. I mean, there's got to be. I haven't listened to developers talk about the game much, only briefly on various podcasts, but they had to have had that conversation at some point. Like, should they meet her? Should they not? And you got to wonder why they made the decisions they made. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, the positives for me, like I said,
I understand why they didn't.
You do. Yeah, I want to hear from you, especially your perspective on that, because I haven't put much thought into it. But like I said, if you put it in the perspective, it's just a summer romance that won't ever go anywhere, but it was great while it lasted. It's sad, but also cool at the same time, and obviously the negatives.
Well, I guess it's how you played it.
Yeah, it is.
I read that you can literally only talk to her 7 times the entire game and still
wow.
beat it. Yeah.
That's interesting.
You can just be a complete a-hole to her and just ignore the whole time, too.
Wow.
So I guess it's...
Because it has that
like
little countdown thing. Like if you don't answer, then just nothing happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it would be interesting. I mean, I don't have any desire to. It'll be interesting to kind of see that play out. I guess you could watch it on YouTube, honestly. Yeah. Just to see how it plays out. But ultimately, like I said, overall, I thought it was a unique experience. I haven't played a game where the dialogue was super. I mean, we've all played countless games where the writing's really good, but the dialogue specifically in this game was really impressive to me, and it felt very natural. Nothing felt forced. It felt like a real conversation, a real relationship between two people, which I thought was cool. Yeah. So I thought in that sense it was a very unique experience, and that's why, like you said, I felt like I got my money's worth in that sense. Ending was underwhelming, but I can live with it. Yeah. So
you're gonna have to.
Yeah. But
Unless there's the DLC ending comes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like they did with Mass Effect.
Yeah, the Meet Delilah DLC pack. Yeah.
Just an extra $60.
Like a clip art image.
Right. But yeah, Jacob, I want to hear from you and your thoughts on this here Firewatch that we all played.
Well, I'll start with the things that I liked, I guess. First.
Okay.
Probably what I liked most about the game was the art, like Preston was saying. Forest looked absolutely beautiful. The sunlight was great.
It did.
When that big forest fire happened, like towards the end of the game, like I really loved the red hue that it put on the whole world.
What did you guys call it?
What?
The fire at the end.
I tried to call it Delilah, but then she didn't want that, so
she named it June.
Yeah, June.
Did you end up with June?
Yeah, June.
No, I called it like something funny.
Yeah.
I forgot what I called it though. It was funny.
Did you guys get the turtle?
I didn't. He did.
I got the turtle.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I called it
Turt Reynolds.
You said you looked like
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds. Did you see your picture at the very end? It said Burt and Turt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was funny.
Was yours the same?
I picked Tom
I didn't do that.
Because I'll tell you what, I'll describe this real quick. I describe myself as a guy who has tired eyes, wears a lot of tuxedos, and has a scar and a mustache.
I think I picked that.
And the picture just looked totally ridiculous, which I thought was funny.
I said I had a happy eyes. I think just a beard and wore tuxedos as well.
Yeah. Nice.
That's what I did.
Something else I liked was the soundtrack.
It was great. I didn't even mention that.
Nice and peaceful. Sometimes it was more like alarming. Sometimes it was quiet.
It certainly set the tone for all aspects
it was weird
of the
because
game.
you're walking around with nothing, and then when you think something's happening, the soundtrack starts up, so it kind of makes you like paranoid a little bit, like something's gonna happen. I guess depending on what type of music is playing with you,
right?
Those are like the two main things that I really liked. The story was decent, in my opinion. Started out really great. Then, obviously towards the end, it starts to, I wish there was a better ending. I really wish they would have built more on that, like the scientific like campsite that you go to.
Well, and what I'm pretty sure that,
like, I know that was all just like set up to make you believe something else, but.
Well, I mean, I think there were actual scientists there because you saw there was like a earthquake reader there, but I think Ned was just using that area as a place to kind of throw you off track.
Right.
So
I just wish it would have went in more of that direction. I don't know.
It was an actual like
giant social experiment. That would be really interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
Like if there would actually been something wrong with you and they sent you out here just to study you, that'd be kind of messed up.
Yeah, it would.
Like they're studying your wife in Australia and they're studying you here.
Yeah, I was getting creeped out towards the end before it all comes together for sure.
Yeah.
And let's see. I've never really played a game like this. It was very text heavy. Obviously there weren't very many like game mechanics besides exploring, walking around, using your walkie-talkie. I just thought it was a cool experience in that regards. The
minimalism of it, the simplicity.
Very simple.
Have any of you guys ever played any of these
walking simulators? That's the
games?
Funniest term to me.
Yeah, this is my first one I've completed. I never played The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I never played
Gone Home.
I never played what's that other one? About the everybody's gone to the rapture.
Yeah,
never played that.
I do want to play that.
Yeah, I never played any of those games, that are considered walking simulators. This would be the first one I've completed. As far as I know, off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, that was cool in aspects. I've always been hearing about these games, I've heard Vanishing of Ethan Carter's good. I've heard Gone Home's great. I've heard Everybody's Gone to the Rapture's good. I'm not going to play Gone Home because I've had that spoiled for me. So too. There's not really a point. But I definitely am interested more now in playing these games that I haven't heard any complaints about, really, because if I enjoyed this one as much as I did, and I know I have like complaints with it, but I did enjoy this game a fair amount, so I'm definitely interested now in playing more games like this that have received a lot of critical acclaim.
Certainly. It's like I want to play these games not because I want to have fun, but just to have a different experience. Not that I'm not going to have fun. I like diversing my interests, I guess.
It's relaxing too to just sit down and beat a game that's like 2-3 hours and just like become involved in this world and just kind of throw your headset on, shut your door, turn the lights off, and just kind of forget about everything for a while, just for a couple of hours and just be done with it. So yeah, I really like that aspect. So I definitely will probably be trying out a few more titles like that for sure.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, I guess one last thing. Delilah, I kind of understand why I think that they didn't really put a face to her, because that kind of allowed us to, I guess, kind of imagine what we would want our Delilah to be like. And if they put it like, if you see her at the end, maybe it would like, oh, she's not even that attractive. I don't even care anymore. Like, I feel like this way it kind of made the ending a little, well, I'm not going to say it made it better, but I guess it just helped us imagine a little more.
Yeah, I get that.
That's kind of shaping our own character.
Yeah. That's a good point, because anyone could have been. Well, that's the thing. That's also exciting about me. I mean, I've never had this personally, because I've never like talked to someone I don't know and then meet them in real person and been like, oh. Yeah. But I can imagine in the game it kind of being like kind of weird, I guess, if you meet her at the end and she's not really what you expected, which isn't a bad thing, because that happens in real life all the time.
And everything, right? Like
exactly.
They really hit it off with their personalities.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sure at that point,
that's just one angle that I was thinking about.
So he longed so much just for, deep, fun conversation with like another woman that I don't think he would have cared what she would have looked like anyways. Like, because that's just something he hasn't had with his wife
in a while. Yeah.
So, and like you said, I don't know. Now that you kind of put that angle on it, I agree with that. I can kind of see that. So yeah,
I mean, that's not the popular opinion, but
no, it's not, because I don't know.
That's just how we're trained, is to have like these happy endings, and this wasn't really a happy ending.
And I'm always okay with somber endings. It's just something about it felt like
it's just,
it was
you didn't
missing.
feel like, I don't even think it was the ending per se. I feel like once just the entire twist of everything, it was just so underwhelming. So you're like, wow, that was underwhelming. Well, at least I can maybe see Delilah. And then you don't even see her. Then you're just like,
and you're like, oh,
well, crap. That's 2 things back to back.
I guess I got these 4 trophies.
If it was like something really cool, like you have dementia, or like this government place has put you here and you and Delilah are a social experiment, and then you don't see her because she's taken away or something, I feel like a lot more people would be okay with it. But I really do think it's like, well, that's underwhelming. I'm going to hike, all the way freaking up north to see Delilah, get there. Well, crap, she's not there either, and she doesn't want to see me. So it's like 2 slaps in the face right there. But yeah, I would say I'm more so disappointed with the Goodwin arc,
right,
as we'll call it, as opposed to the Delilah arc.
Yeah, although that was disappointing a bit for me too. I thought the way they developed their story was impressive, at least, even though I was hoping for a bigger story. The fact that you could find like all their belongings and stuff, and kind of read about or hear about Brian and his dad and what they were like, and then you find like their little hideout and look at all their belongings and talk to Delisle about them all and stuff. They really set up those characters nicely, I think. And like we said, the twist of everything was a bit underwhelming for me as well, but at least they did a good job developing those characters as well, and the mystery surrounding them.
So I think there's also something to say about playing a whole game where you're not interacting with like anyone, like you don't see anyone, but you're just you in this forest the whole game. Except you see what the two teenage girls,
silhouettes, basically.
Then you see
the helicopter guy.
Once.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see the helicopter guy. That's literally the only face you see the whole game.
I mean, he has a helmet on too, so
yeah.
So
yeah.
That's all I got.
Nice.
Gentlemen, that'll do it for our Firewatch review. Let us know what you thought of Firewatch in the comments down below.
Yes, please. I really want to hear your opinions, and I want to talk to you guys about it, because like we've said before, I like hearing from the three of us. We get to talk about stuff all the time, but we only get to talk to you guys in our YouTube comments, or you can join us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. We'll talk to you there as well. But please...
Good plugs.
Yes, let's start a conversation down below and kind of break this down, dissect Firewatch a bit, because I feel like there's a lot more than meets the eye.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Cool. We'll check you guys out.
Sorry?
I mean...
Sir.
Preston, I'm a little disturbed.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I cannot speak.
That's
very
okay.
well. See you guys next time.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys later. Thank you.